Hello and welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okoro. Suspected Boko Haram insurgents have ambushed the convoy of the Acting General Officer commanding 7th Division of the Nigerian Army, Victor Ezugu. This was contained in a statement by the spokesperson of the Nigerian Army, Colonel Sani Usman. The incident occurred at about 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday morning in Bama, Borno State, northeast Nigeria. Sadly, a soldier lost his life in the incident, while 2 others were injured. The troops, however, cleared the ambush, killing some of the terrorists and recovering several arms and ammunition and also a vehicle from them. Now, just before the ambush on the convoy of the Acting General Officer commanding 7th Division, the Nigerian military successfully repelled an attack at the 113th Battalion near the border with Niger in Kareto, Borno State, northeast Nigeria. The army had on Monday engaged in a fierce battle with the insurgents after an attack which lasted for several hours. More than 30 Boko Haram members were killed, while 2 officers and 22 soldiers were injured in the clash. Army spokesperson Colonel Sani Usman said more reinforcement has been deployed to the border community. Over the past few months, Nigerian troops have succeeded in pushing out the terrorist group from most of its bases in the northeast region. President of the Nigerian Senate, Bukola Saraki, says his trial at the Code of Conduct Tribunal will not interrupt Senate proceedings. At the resumed hearing, a detective of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Michael Wetkers, narrated how Saraki failed to declare all of his assets at the Code of Conduct Bureau. Wetkers said Saraki bought more than one property from a Presidential Implementation Committee on landed property, but told the CCT about only one of the purchase. Chairman of the tribunal, Danladi Umar, said the trial would be held daily from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. till the conclusion of the case. The Senate President is facing a 13-count charge of false declaration of assets while he was governor of Kwara State.
Yes, I feel today, as I've always felt, that we're in the right place to dispel all the rumors, all the prejudice that has been circulated. And we are hoping that you in the press will report matters fairly. We have here an opportunity to defend ourselves. We are doing so. We thank the Almighty God.
I think the leadership should give us good leadership. So in a situation where the entire Senate adjourned because of the trial of one of them, and in a nation where corruption has crippled it and rendered it almost impotent, so and for that important institution to adjourn and then come and ask the court to adjourn, what do we want our children to learn? Is that the kind of lesson they want to be cute and give to the next generation? So that is why I say no, you don't do that. You adjourn the proceedings and you are relying on it that the proceedings of court is preventing you from sitting. When it is not the Senate that is on trial, it's not done anywhere. Please let us know what we are doing. Let us be serious as a nation and let us know where we are going.
A coalition of civil society organizations in Nigeria have called on the Nigerian Senate to discard its ongoing plan to change the country's anti-corruption laws. The Nigerian Senate had last week passed for second reading a bill seeking to amend the act establishing the Code of Conduct Bureau and its tribunal. The civil society organizations say they are against the hastiness of the passage of the proposed amendment to the law. The group's stand was in view of the ongoing trial of the president of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, at the tribunal.
That as Nigerian people, we are not apologetic. If he's an individual that will bring an institution to disrepute, it is important that that individual is singled out and let his colleagues say, look, we are not agreeing to this. But what is happening, like I said, as elites, the issue is about the affidavit that you have sworn to, the concealing. And it is not a Senator Saraki thing. It is something that if you begin to go one by one, it's pervasive everywhere. So there is going to be unanimity of position, just like, and it will be non-partisan. Let's not. You must understand that it's going to be non-partisan. Because that happens in budget. You hardly see division when Parliament is talking about budget, because many people contest election to Parliament because of the budget. Okay? Governors are united in ensuring that money is shared. There is no PDP, there is no APC. Everybody agrees to share the money. But where does that leave Nigerian people? Nigerian people must stand up to impunity, must stand up to that arrogance of power and resist it. If impunity reigns in our country, we all suffer for it. And it is not about relationships. Sometimes people get cowed by the relationship they have with individuals. Oh, politicians are sponsoring them and all of that. Those things will be there. But the truth of the matter is that you have an elite that must begin to mind this reputation.
In the light of the foregoing, Center for Social Justice believes that the most reasonable thing for the president to do is to assent to the budget bill as presented and thereafter send a supplementary budget for projects that have been left out or an amendment bill to reprogram funds in the areas of his concern. In the event the president thinks that this is not the proper thing to do, he should immediately initiate dialogue with the National Assembly, setting out the areas of concern so as to resolve the logjam. But this must not exceed the next 1 week.
The Nigerian Senate has summoned the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, Danladi Umar, to appear before it. In a letter on Monday, the Senate asked Umar to appear by 2 p.m. on Thursday, along with 12 copies of any written submission he may wish to present to the Senate. Danladi Umar is presently presiding over the trial of Senate President Bukola Saraki. A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed the application of the former National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki, to stop his trial. Dasuki is facing a 4-count charge of money laundering and illegal possession of firearms brought against him by the Department of State Services. The 4 counts preferred against Dasuki before Justice Adeni Ademola are unrelated to the 2 separate sets of charges bordering on alleged diversion of $2.1 billion for the purchase of arms pending against Dasuki and others before 2 judges of the Federal High Court in Abuja. The judge, Justice Ademola, in his ruling, dismissed the application for lack of merit. Workers under the aegis of the Nigeria Labour Congress and civil society groups have picketed the Ikeja Electricity Company in Lagos State, southwest Nigeria over the recent sack of about 400 staff in the company. The workers are insisting that their sacked colleagues must be reinstated. The protest comes at a time when Nigeria is battling crippling power shortages. TV360's Olayemi Eso now reports.
The protesters turned out in their numbers and besieged the head office of the distribution company as early as 9 a.m. They shut the entrance of the power company and adjoined roads. Chanting various solidarity songs, they called on the workers in the office to stop work and join the protests. Their leaders urged the police and law enforcement agents present at the protest ground to ensure that the workers comply with the rule.
400 workers sacked unjustifiably is more than what we can bear. It is not just about 400 workers that are sacked. It is about all their dependents, their children, their women. They are all dependents that they are responsible to, from whom they draw their livelihood. And that is why we are here. We have given them an ultimatum of 10 o'clock, which has expired. But we are still being lenient. We are still being magnanimous. We are asking the leadership of the police to join us, to bring the management of Ikeja Electric out and talk to us, as well as bring all the workers out. If they don't do this, the crowd will be growing by the day. The presence of the civil society, the presence of Nigerian workers will be increasing by the day. That I know for sure.
It's the second time in the last 1 month that they would be embarking on this protest to press the management of the company to recall the 400 disengaged workers.
The people you are seeing here today are all from labor affiliates, all from all the labor unions, civil society coalition group, students and communities are the people that are driving this struggle. We are prepared to continue on to be here on this picketing line until there is a recall of all those 400 workers, or there is a genuine intention to engage NEPA union in dialogue, in constructive dialogue that will resolve the issue around the negotiating table.
But spokesperson of the company denied up to 400 workers were disengaged, saying the number is far less than what the labor union is burdening.
The 400 workers is not the issue. And for information, it's not 400 workers. Labour keeps saying 400 workers. It was 229 workers that were separated for this business for performance issues, not 400. So for 400 are stuck. I don't know where they got 400 for. 400 people never left this business. 229 left, 603 were employed.
The unions have been picketing their company for the better of this year. They say they would not stop until the sacked workers are recalled, something the company continues to insist it would not do. Olayemi Eson, TV360 Nigeria.
Nigeria's Police Service Commission says it received 705,352 applications from people seeking enlistment into the Nigerian police force. The applications received were for the recruitment of 10,000 personnel into the police force. The recruitment commenced nationwide on Friday, April 1st, 2016. Chairman of the Commission, Michael Kure, confirmed that the process of receiving the forms had been smooth and transparent. At the beginning of the recruitment exercise, 2 websites provided by the police force for the 10,000 applicants crashed and were inaccessible. 2 engineers who constructed the collapsed 7-story guest house of the Synagogue Church of All Nations were on Tuesday remanded at the Kirikiri Maximum Prison in Lagos State, Southwest Nigeria. A High Court ordered their arraignment on Tuesday after the judge dismissed the application filed by 2 of the defendants seeking to quash the charges. The engineers Oladele Ogundeji and Akimbela Fatirego had pleaded not guilty to a 101-count charge bordering on gross negligence and criminal manslaughter. The prosecution argues that the defendants constructed the building with disregard for human lives. At least 116 persons were killed when the church guest house, still under construction, collapsed in September 12, 2014. 85 of those killed were from South Africa. National Security Advisor, retired Major General Babagana Mongono, has said the activities of hackers and cyber criminals was a threat to the Nigerian economy and security of Nigerians. He was speaking at the inauguration of 31 members of the Cybercrime Advisory Council in Abuja. He said the activities of cyber criminals in Nigeria's cyber airspace was threatening to individual and collective privacy. According to him, the situation was partly due to lack of awareness on cyber security and poor enforcement of guidelines for security of government websites. The Nigerian Air Force says it has commenced night flying training exercise in Lagos State, Southwest Nigeria. The training began on Monday night and is expected to last till Saturday, April 23rd, between 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. daily. A statement issued by Steve Ayorin, the Lagos State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, urged Lagosians not to panic. The exercise will involve the usage of the C-130 Hercules aircraft by the Nigerian Air Force and the 201 Heavy Airlift Group. The Commissioner further explained that the C-130 Hercules aircraft will fly very low in some locations across the state, but gave the assurance that residents should not panic as all protective and safety measures have been put in place. We'll take a short break now. We'll come back, look at business and sports. Stay tuned.
Hello, you're welcome. You're watching the Funny White Man Show, which is the biggest, the brightest, and the most entertaining show in Africa.
Funny white man, but this way you talk, it's too much. Give me 5,000 man that you. It's too much. So you get it like, when she move along the street, yeah, me should like that, I'm going girl. You know, my own people, actually. Yeah, fine, it's fun. I enjoy it. And I'm one of those very few. I'm forever taking it personal. I will say 160 million Nigerians are corrupt. How? My brother, I'm looking for you.
Yeah, but it's a growth, and this is the time to build business and know the pitfalls and know what to do and what not to do. But there are months where you get business and months.
You know how we do, how we train them. We know the way you do.
Hello, you welcome. You watching Trending Matters on the Funny White Man Show. Of course, we will bring you trending issues just to entertain and tickle your fancy.
Welcome back. You're watching TV360 News now. Oil prices rose on Tuesday, 2 days after a meeting by major exporters in Qatar collapsed without an agreement to freeze output. The meeting also left the credibility of the OPEC producer cartel in pieces and the world awash with unwanted fuel. Tensions between Saudi Arabia and Iran were blamed for the failure, which revived industry fears that major government-controlled producers will increase their battle for market share by offering even steeper discounts. Brent crude traded at $43.37 per barrel, up nearly 40 cents, while U.S. crude futures were down more than 5% at $38.31 a barrel. Iran was the only OPEC member not to attend the talks in Doha. At least 28 people have been killed and 329 injured in a huge explosion in the center of the Afghan capital, Kabul, police and officials have confirmed. A suicide attacker detonated a vehicle and gunmen stormed the area, reports say. Officials say the gunfight is now over and the area has now been cleared. A Taliban spokesperson said the group carried out the attack. It comes just a week after it said it would launch a spring offensive, warning of large-scale attacks. At least 413 people are known to have died in the earthquake that struck Ecuador, the country's government has confirmed. The 7.8 magnitude quake struck Ecuador's Pacific coast on Saturday, and the search for survivors continues. The cost of rebuilding is likely to be in the billions of dollars, President Rafael Correa said during a visit to the worst affected regions. He said it was the biggest tragedy to hit Ecuador in the past 7 decades. Some 2,500 people were injured in the earthquake. Former Super Eagles coach Daniel Amokachi has blamed the Eagles players for their team's failure to qualify for the 2017 African Cup of Nations. The Eagles will miss the 2017 AFCONs for the second successive time after failing to defeat the Pharaohs of Egypt in the 2 matches played in March. Amokachi, who had a brief spell in charge of the national team, says the inability of the Eagle players to adjust their mentality was the key reason for the failure of the national team. Serena Williams and Novak Djokovic have both won the Laureus 2015 Sportsman and Sportswoman Award of the Year and the Sportswoman Award of the Year. Serena had a splendid 2015, winning the Australian Open, French Open and Wimbledon, while Djokovic won the US Open, Australian Open and Wimbledon. The awards also honored the achievements of New Zealand's world champions as the All Blacks followed up their Rugby World Cup win with the Team of the Year award. Barcelona, Ajax and Holland legend late Johan Cruyff was also posthumously awarded the Spirit of Sport award. South Africa's Constitutional Court has fixed June for the murder sentencing of former Olympian Oscar Pistorius. Pistorius was in 2014 sentenced to 5 years in prison for killing his girlfriend, River Steenkamp, on Valentine's Day in 2013. He was found guilty of culpable homicide after saying during the trial that he shot his girlfriend through a locked bathroom door because he mistook her for an intruder. The Paralympian was released on probation on October 21st last year after serving just 10 months of his 5-year prison term. However, the conviction was overturned by the Supreme Court after 5 judges unanimously ruled that the previous judge had made a judgment which was fundamentally flawed. The Blade Runner now faces a minimum of 15 years in prison. That's all we have on news now. We thank you very much for watching. I am Thelma Okoro.